Welcome back to another Savvy Homemade video. Today I'll guide you through two methods for making your own DIY rosemary oil. It's the perfect treatment for longer, more voluminous hair. Regardless of method, you will need the following ingredients. If you plan to follow the cold extraction method, you will want to make use of dried rosemary instead of fresh. More on this in a moment. Now, rosemary can be cold extracted. While this takes time, it's relatively easy. You will need the following equipment. However, with the application of heat, we can speed this process up. If you like the sound of this, you will need the following equipment instead. But first, let's begin by showing you how cold extraction works. Begin by placing the dried rosemary into a clean, airtight container. A mason jar with a rubber ring would be ideal. Next, fill the jar with your chosen carrier oil. The rosemary must be completely covered with at least an inch above left spare. If the rosemary sits above the oil, it will be prone to mold. Now we can place the cap tightly onto the jar and give it a good shake. Then pop the jar in a warm, sunny place for 2 to 3 weeks to infuse. Two or 3 weeks later, when the rosemary has been fully infused into the oil, it's time to strain it. You can use a fine strainer or a piece of cheesecloth to strain the rosemary out of the oil. You may need to squeeze it through the cheesecloth several times to fully strain the oil. Now transfer to store. If you add 1% vitamin E, you can extend the shelf life by up to 6 months. Let's now take a look at the heated extraction method. It's much faster and is my preferred method. Pour your oil into a saucepan, keeping the lid to one side. You can use a crock pot or slow cooker if you prefer. Add your fresh rosemary herb to the oil. The rosemary should be completely covered. Then place on a low heat of around 140 degrees Fahrenheit or 60 degrees Celsius. If you are using your stove or hot plate, like we are, this should take between 1 to 2 hours. A crock pot or slow cooker will take longer, around 2 to 5 hours. Do not cover or apply the lid, as this will produce condensation, allowing water to enter the oil. After a few hours, our oil will have taken the scent of our rosemary herb. Turn off the heat, remove, and allow the oil to cool. Do not attempt to remove the rosemary herb while the oil is piping hot. Once the oil has cooled, it will need to be strained using cheesecloth or a fine strainer. But first, remove what you can with kitchen tongs. Then you can strain and squeeze it through the cheesecloth. Repeat until the oil is clear of herb. Transfer into a sterile container and store in a cool, dark place. Much like with our previous method, you can add 1% vitamin E to extend the shelf life of our rosemary oil. But that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching this video.